So we thank God for our class today and our instructor, Yvette Hawk, and we appreciate her greatly. Let's give Yvette a hand as she comes forth.
All righty.
I know it's even confusing for me sometimes. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Okay. So this is the second session of our management principles. Today's class, as I just mentioned to Pastor, is people management. So today, hopefully, I'm going to give you some skills or just some tips on how to effectively manage people. And then also, hopefully, you'll learn how to spot different types of management styles so that you know how to react and respond to those different types of management styles. So as we look at the different management styles, one of the things that I guess that came to mind to me or was an epiphany for me is that management and leadership are not the same. We use them interchangeably, but they each require their own set of skills. They each have their own very definitive and clear goals. So before we get into actually the management portion of it, let's just spend a couple of minutes talking about leadership versus management. Leadership provides direction, engagement, and inspiration to motivate a team of people to achieve organizational success. Leadership brings vision, inspiration, and challenge. Effective leaders are reliant on applying their own and others' management skills to achieve their vision. Now, on the other hand, when we talk about management coordinates people's efforts and allocates resources to maximize the efficiency in achieving the goals. So those goals that are set by leadership, management comes in and makes it all happen. Managers are responsible for making sure that things get done. One of the things that I thought about when I was reading this is that I think sometimes we get frustrated with some of our managers or our leaders because we're putting them in the wrong categories. Leaders are visionaries. They don't get their hands dirty. Managers get their hands dirty. Managers are supposed to get in there and be within the grind of everything that's going on. They're supposed to lead the people. The leaders do not lead the people. Managers do the work. Now, that probably from a perspective of church leadership, when I was thinking about this, I think about Pastor as the leader. He's the leader, he's the visionary. He sets out the goals and the objectives of the church. We as department managers, but we also call ourselves leaders, we're the ones that carry out the vision that he has set forth. Okay, so keep that in mind when we're talking leadership versus managers. In this particular aspect, even though I may say leader, I do mean manager. Okay, all right. Then to be a good manager, you must have an extensive set of skills from planning and delegating to communicating and motivating. Now, even though I got my glasses on, that's still working. So some characteristics of good leadership. They're strategic and people-oriented or people-focused, while managers are tactical and organizational focused. Leaders set organization, direction, and goals, while managers plan and coordinate activities. Leaders motivate and inspire people, while managers administer and maintain systems. Leaders establish principles. Management formulates policies to carry out those principles. Leaders build a team and develop talent. Managers allocate and support human resources. Leaders develop new opportunities while management solves logistical problems. Leaders promote, innovate, and invent. Managers ensure conformance to standards and procedures. So as you do those comparisons, you can kind of see where there really is a clear and definitive difference. When I was looking at this, even though throughout my career in the corporate sector, I was always put in roles of leadership, but I never felt that that was really where I was supposed to be. So now when I look at these comparisons, I really see that I'm more of a manager than a leader. I don't like conflict. I don't like dealing with personalities. I'm a paper pusher. I like to be in my little spot with my set of assignments, and I just want to get the work done. Okay. But then there are people who are very charismatic, who just want to be, who can be out in front of people. They love it. They enjoy it. And that's not me. I know one time early on when I first came to the church and I started working there, pastor says, you have good leadership skills, but you just don't like dealing with the people, do you? No, I don't. And not that I don't like people. I just know that my gifts are behind the scenes. I'm not an out front kind of person. That's not necessarily a bad thing, as long as everybody understands where their position is. Okay. Now you can move from being from managing to leading. If you have someone who will invest in you and help you to move towards leadership, if that's what you desire to do. So it's not like once a leader, always a leader, or once a manager, always a manager. There is opportunity for growth and to move into a different position. So now we're going to talk about management styles. I have 6 people who are going to help me with an exercise so we can all get up and stretch. And so we're going to have 15 minutes to do this exercise. So within the management skills that I've given to these 6 individuals, they are directive, authoritative, affiliative, participative, pace setting, and coaching. Okay. So I'm going to divide. So can my 6 managers please come forward? Okay. So I'm going to give each of you, you're all going to have the same task. And in these bags are the tools that you need to complete the task. Now, the task is you and your team are going to build a new church using the resources that you have in this bag, along with all the brilliant people who are out here that are going to be your team members and assist you. So let's see. Everybody count off to 6.
1, 2, 3, 4,
5,
6.
1, 2,
3.
4,
Charlie,
5.
Michelle,
6. 1.
Dee Dee,
3. 4. 5. 6.
1.
2.
okay. Wanda, 4. Okay, so some of you may have one more than the others. Okay, so if all of my 1s can see Alzada, the 2s McGill, the 3s Urban, the 4s Robert, the 5s Cree, and the 6 is Cheryl. So just find a spot. We're gonna take about 15 minutes for this exercise. Sir, you play the game.
Where'd she go? Five.
Only three of us.
It's only three of us? Are you sure? Where did she go? I only got 5.
No, there has to be more than 1 5.
2 5.
Yeah, they're coming. There's somebody coming. You should have at least 3.
Well, we missing one.
I'm missing a 5.
Who's 5?
I'm missing a 5. Yeah, but I should have had a 5 before that last.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you come to the? Thank Yes, they don't have.
Okay, so what's your
All right, so we got breakfast, we got lunch, we got nights,
You with us? So we won't be able to decide. We're doing the exercise together. So we're gonna have all right.
Oh, look at my cup now. I'm about to
You're back. You're back. We have to look this up on this state.
It would say.
Okay, you have.
Yeah. But it does have to be stationary.
So, like, go to the church. From Facebook.
Oh, good. Hey, you can join this group. Oh, Maureen, I'm just saying. Maureen, they could use it in the first. So is this supposed to 10 minutes.
We have to use everything.
Hello? 5 minutes.
Is there a problem? Is there a problem? All sides of where our It just means that when you stay, you got to make sure that our foundation is here. So what I said, if you have a problem, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. So yeah,
On the back, yeah, back wall, right? Yeah. I was just going to recognize.
You're saying you don't have any stairs, so probably the upper room, we live down the broken.
I'm sending you her lecture. In the middle of your thing. It's not related to building the church. Oh, I did my part of it. Robert, one of your team members.
1 minute.
Okay, so then I have
Teacher, you gotta do the bad. Like you said. Oh, no. So that wasn't the issue. We just changed the way the issue was supposed to be.
A house that stands together.
No, that's not going.
No, because you're here talking to me.
You don't mean it's right there.
Okay, time's up.
You gotta stop working. Take your hands off.
Okay, hands up.
Hands up.
Everybody stop. No looking, no touching. No, hands up.
I was stretching.
Okay. Now, everybody can have their seats.
All right. Thanks. I was so mean.
Okay, you can leave your churches where they are.
Where your church at, babe? Let's see what it looks like.
Don't touch it, Chris.
I'm not touching, I was just cleaning it
Back
up.
up, back
Just
up.
clean it up.
I think they should be disqualified. I stopped when we were supposed to stop.
Okay, all right, team in the back. Team in the back. Team in the back. Excuse me. No team meeting. Irvin, I need you to get your team together. Okay. So I need, and you can just stand where you are, my managers. So my directive manager was McGill. So for McGill's team, I actually received a note. I'm the HR manager, and I received a note from McGill's team. They're filing a grievance, and they're all going on strike. So, McGill, explain to the rest of the group your management style.
All right, so the directive leader orders the team around, sets high standards and discipline, those who don't meet the standards. I briefed the leader beforehand to change her mind several times during the activity, and also to take a phone call and leave the room. And so I did a lot of that. And so I think, as you can tell, I really got them upset.
Yes.
The directive course of style has the primary objective of immediate compliance from the employees. The do it the way I tell you manager closely controls employees, motivates by grit and discipline. And so.
Well, you hit it on the nose, sir.
Okay, so I guess the grievance explains the feelings of the team. So if someone else wants to, if someone from the team wants to, just talk about it from the employee perspective.
I'll let you or Johnson. There's some good feedback too as well. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I think with that style of management, if you have a goal that you're trying to accomplish with your team, it makes it a little difficult because we were working and he's leaving out of the room, but coming back, changing the work that was, that he wasn't a part of.
Okay. Is there any time that you think that type of management style works? Okay. For example.
If you have self-starters or independent workers, it may work.
Okay.
I think also in the military, at certain points, doing board type zones and environments that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's some things in life that are just, they gotta get done.
Right.
It's not negotiable, so you need somebody to just take charge and we have to go in this direction. This is the only direction we can go for this.
Okay. So what they say is that in a crisis situation, this is the best type of management style. That person just gives instructions. And as Robert said, the people that are on his team have to be self-motivated. They have to know what their role is. They have to understand the importance of getting things done and getting them done in a timely manner. There's no time for voting on it. There's no time for, getting other people's opinions about it. And as past, it wasn't. So from a pastoral perspective, there are times when pastor has to make decisions and he doesn't have time to come to us or to come to the church and for us to have a come to Jesus meeting about having a meeting. So in this instance, this is the perfect type of management style for him to have. And we as leaders need to be able to be there to back him up and say, okay, sir, the ball is in your court. Whatever you decide to do, we're with you. Okay, and then that is communicated to the rest of the membership. Whose phone is that?
Mm-hmm.
Can I
Okay.
ask a question?
Yes.
Is that, so it sounds like there is times that you can use that style, but if it's used all the time?
You won't have anybody working for
I
you.
know that's
You will not have anybody working for you.
I just want to know.
Yes, Ms. Wanda.
So, did they get the job done, even though they had that?
Yeah, we
Oh,
did.
okay.
We did.
We have the top part of our church, that is our teen church, we have our parkway right here, park the cars. We got our members that's in the audience, the two paper clips, the speakers that's surrounded, so we get all the sound like Pastor, Pastor's like his mic and his speakers, so that's behind him, that's our altar, and the choir is in the behind, getting ready to do a song.
How you know it's a church? I don't know. You gotta speak.
All right, very good. All right, the next management style is authoritative.
All right, authoritative. The authoritative leader sets the vision for the team clearly and compellingly, then steps back and allows the team to work. The leader steps in from time to time to reiterate the vision if required, but that is all he or she does. The authoritative or visionary style has the primary objective of providing long-term direction and vision for employees. They're firm but fair. They give employees clear directions, and they motivate by persuasion and feedback on the task performed.
Okay, so feedback from the group, from his team members.
Yeah, he appointed an architect and put us to work.
Okay, a lot of times this type of management style is called delegation. Okay, so they know how to go out, find the right people, delegate based on your level of expertise and skill, which when we think about it from a church standpoint, the pastor chooses and puts people in areas of management or leadership that he feels is right for that particular department or that particular area. Now, sometimes you have people in position that may not really, their skill sets may not really fit that position. But the thing that he does is what does he do?
Gets the right people somewhere around on.
Okay.
Finds the right position to put him in.
He finds the right position to put them in, and also what else? Because sometimes people, they may not have a skill set for something, but they're passionate about it. And you train them, you work with them, and you provide them with training. So let's see what kind of church they have.
We have, Ms. Tasha, great. She's gonna explain our design.
Okay.
So, basically, we have a God, our church. We created 4 pillars, which represents the gospel. We have our steeple, we have our people in the church, we have our preacher right in the front. So it's just like an open area, open arms.
Look, they got the job done. Let's give them a hand. Okay, this video is gonna be horrible.
Yeah.
They should have been here. Okay, so the affiliative manager.
Okay. You know, when I chose this, I didn't even know I was choosing it, but it's just so me. But this kind of leader takes time helping the team to bond. And I believe in that. You know, it was so interesting. I didn't know what number I was going to be. And when you started counting off 6, and I said, I just know I'm going to be number 6. And as you started counting the people off, and I said, oh, I started looking at the personalities, how they come together. And that's what this style of leadership is. This leader does not say, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. What they do is it's the skill bank, and it's the personalities. And that's what I started looking at. So as we started counting off, I said, oh yeah, that's T, that's Michelle, And then when Mo came, I said, oh Jesus. So then I said, but he's important. So I love you. Anyway, they often sit down for a cup of tea and a round table sharing of stories. Often the activity is not even commenced as the team gets caught up in getting to know each other. So what I tried to do is say, okay, you're important. I mean, I didn't say that, but you know, everybody just started working together because they saw that, okay, this is going to be important. So it's the people first, task second, manager, avoids conflict and emphasizes good personal relationships among employees. So as we started doing that, then we started looking at the type of church that we wanted. Okay. One that was like networking for Jesus, you know, coming together, building together, and we all be connected. Okay, so of course, in this type of leadership, it takes what? Time. It takes time. And we didn't have enough what? Time. So as we started sharing together and building together, then we saw, it's kind of rough, but see, that's the way relationships start. They start what? Rough. Right. So what we did is we had our social thing. Each cup is connected to something else. There was no section that was separate. And because this is built on social gatherings, and that's one of the things I read about the Jews, everything they do, which is connected to Jesus, is all about their social activities, even their prayer life. That's how they build their businesses. So you come in and you have a youth center, which is connected to the sanctuary, which is connected to the throne room, which is the prayer room, which is also connected to the cafe, which is also, and each one is connected. See, if you're not visionary, you know, I'm feeling you. You got to feel it. Everything is connected to the sanctuary, and we're all connected to each other. Even with the kids zone, it is connected. Yeah. With our school, with the computers and all, it's all connected. Nothing is separate. We don't have a cafe here and this way over here. We are all connected, and that's what we need. And it's a bridge. We bridge each other, and therefore, that's why I emphasis. That's right.
Very good. So this particular leadership style focuses more on building relationships, which again is a part of Pastor's vision for our entire church, is that we are connected, that we develop relationships, and we become closer, and we're a family. Anybody from the team have a comment?
She really did encourage us to she encouraged you, like, you're good at this, you're good at that. And we did get to laughing and talking, so no. We fellowship, we bonded, so.
Okay. All right. The participative manager.
The participative democratic leader starts by asking all the team members what they would like to do, then voting on the options. The participative democratic style has the primary objective of building commitment and conscience among employees. The everyone has input manager encourages employee input and decision-making and motivates by rewarding the team effort. First thing I'd like to do is have my teammates stand up, please. I'd like to say thank you for all your hard work in building our church. All your participation, which I'm grateful for. I'd like to introduce all of you to Victory International Church. We're a church on the grow. If you look inside, there's different colors of people. We are many cultures, but one faith. All of us participate.
That's it.
We don't have any walls because we reach outside of the four walls. We believe in the community. We'll bring them in from the front, the sides, and the back. But we all participate in everything from the foundation to bringing the people in. To the top of the church. So we all participated. Everybody did a great job, and we all touched and agreed and worked together on the church. And the reward is we're having a big dinner at my mansion on Didn't He Do It Boulevard. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so for this particular management style, you notice that she was heavily involved. She was really involved in the process. Anyone from the team want to?
She was from the top, from the very beginning. She was very encouraging as far as asking everybody their opinion, what they thought, and then making sure that we didn't just go with the one thought, that everybody got an opportunity to express what they agree.
Okay. Now, when is this management style not effective?
We try to do it.
I would say when you press for time.
Okay.
Because if you take a lot of time voting and trying to come up with one concept and not one person delegating, then it could take longer than necessary.
Okay, Maurice.
I would say she's a crisis, because she did a lot to recognize her team, and in crisis, you don't have time to recognize everybody's contribution.
Right. Okay. Kelly.
It's not appropriate for crises, but I think if you do this as the groundwork, when you get to the crises, you'll have people who buy into it.
Okay, good. All right, the pace setting leader.
All right, y'all. Pace setting leader sets a cracking pace from the beginning. The team operates with high energy, engagement, and motivation. The leader sets members' tasks, but then takes them off of them if they're not performing and gives it to someone else. Pace setting style is primary objective of accomplishing the task to a high standard of excellence. The do-it-myself manager performs many tasks personally and expects employees to follow his example, motivates by setting high standards and expects self-direction from employees. So basically what I did with my team is I gave everybody a task and set them out to doing it. And then if they couldn't come up with the idea of how to do it, then I just jumped in. Wanda did blow them off for a moment. That didn't stop us. But we just
The parking lot was completed.
yeah, her task was done, but she didn't stay around to help with all the rest of the task. And so what we did was, I gave each one, it was four members. I gave each one of them a task, one to build the foundation, one to build the parking lot, the building itself, and then the sanctuary. We have stadium seating, thanks to EJ.
Okay, anybody from the team?
I agree. We had one person get fired. So what he did, that was her. She wasn't doing the job. She got moved out the way. He took over. So
You didn't get a proper assessment? You were good at the parking lot.
I was part of that team too, and he just gave us assignments based on what he just wanted to give us. He didn't know what we were good at. And I was just standing off to the side like, okay, well, let me see where I can try to fit in. But of course, he's gonna come take the task. He didn't take my task because I just laid foundation building it. So I just laid.
I gotta do a good job. Thank you, man. Good job.
But I don't know. I would rather do something I feel like I could do.
Okay, so one of the key points here is that with this particular type of manager, they manage people who are highly motivated and experts. So in his instance, he did absolutely correct. He assigned people to certain things that he felt that they could get done. Now, this particular style is effective when people are highly motivated and competent. They need very little direction, and they're experts in their fields. All right? All right.
Excuse me, that's why I was able to roll. I was an expert. And I was out.
Okay, so the last style is the coaching leader.
So, the coaching leader focuses on the learning experience. When a team member proves to be particularly good at an aspect of a task, the leader has them demonstrate to each other. The coaching style has a particular objective of long-term professional development of the employees. The developmental manager help and encourage employees to develop their strengths and improve their performance. Motivation by providing opportunities for professional development. So as you can see up front, that is our church, and it pretty much speaks for itself. It's one of the best in the room.
No, we don't do that.
Because as me being a leader, this kind of fits well with my personality. I was able to coach the people that was on my team for them to actually teach one another. So we learn from each other and we build on the task that we build on the task to make it happen. So everyone was able to contribute and teach us how to do something, and then we kind of just flow with it, and we got it done, and it looks really, really good. So I just want to thank everyone for embellishing on their particular strengths and building our church.
Okay. So the key point here is developmental leadership. You take the time to develop your employees. Now, somebody from her team, Sister Linda?
I was told to read this, and the youngest one on the team, so I'm going to try to read this. Okay. It says, through wisdom is a house built, and by understanding it is established.
and by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. And I just wanted to say that it's a close-knit church, but the doors are open. And you can see this church from a mile away. You can tell it's a church. So everybody's welcome.
Okay.
I walked in late on the project, but when I came in, I already knew. I didn't know what was going on, but I kind of got encouraged to do better and do what my job was by Cree. She was, so when I was thinking about the leadership style and what you were saying up here, she really encouraged me to pull out a task that I really wasn't experienced at doing. But because of the encouragement, I got better at doing it, and I had a desire to complete the task at hand, which made me better as a servant or a person or a worker. And then not only was I able to complete my task, I was able to assist others with their tasks because I was encouraged with the motivation. So, you know, I didn't start out knowing something, but at the end of it, I was a better worker because of the encouragement that I was receiving from the leader.
Okay, awesome. Miss Charlene.
I want to piggyback on what he said too. I was late coming into the group too, not knowing what we were supposed to be doing, but she was very encouraging. Her first thing to me were, are you able to get down and help? You know, with them. I came in with a mindset, look, babe, I'm tired. I'm just gonna watch what y'all do. But because of her encouragement, it made me get down on that hard floor trying to figure out how to get back up. But it made me want to participate. And you know, I'm a standoffish type of person sometimes, which made me come into the room when I'm tired. And I was tired.
Okay, very good. Let's everybody give yourselves a hand. So, Kelly.
I was just gonna say, out of the churches here, it's really funny. It's one of the things I suggested. The cross on Cree's church, it's a beautiful church too, Cree. The cross on the church, when you come in, if you were looking at all the ones in the room and you had to figure out which one was a church, you would automatically know that one is a church. So we
excuse me, I'm gonna interject on that.
Okay, no.
That is a part of that symbolism. I just thought that was really.
All right, brilliant.
Okay, so very good. Now, which management style do you think is the best?
They're all needed.
Situational leadership.
Exactly. Good managers choose the style that is needed based on the situation. Okay. Now, leadership is more of the touchy-feely, the hard part, but management is the let's get it done part. And within that, using and utilizing all of the skill sets helps the organization to be more well-rounded. All right. I have about 10 more minutes? Okay, so we're gonna go through these really quick. So let's talk now about 5 skills for effectively managing people. Anybody think of any of the skills that are needed to effectively manage people?
Being a good listener.
Okay, good listener. Patience. Confidence. Communication.
Skills.
Okay, skills management.
Determination.
Confidentiality, determination. Anybody else? Anything different? Well, I'm sure that each of those falls into one of these 5 categories. So the first one is communicate intelligently. You have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to communicate so that the person on the other end who is receiving the communication has the proper understanding of what it is that you want them to do. Number 2, accept responsibility. When you mess up, say I made a mistake. Because what happens? If your employees or your team members can see that you can accept the responsibility for the mess up, then they're going to be more inclined to accept the responsibility when they mess up.
So is it accepting the responsibility of the team when you mess up, just taking the whole responsibility, or accepting it for your personal mistake?
I think you have to do both.
Both, yeah.
Yeah. So let's just say even in church work, you know, pastor appoints you to lead, the leadership team. Okay, so he holds you responsible. If there was only 2 people that came, he's gonna hold you responsible, first of all, but then he's gonna hold the rest of us accountable, but he's gonna have you to call everybody in this that's not in this room to see why they weren't here. So you have to accept some responsibility because maybe you didn't call the night before, or maybe you didn't send an email as a reminder. Whatever the case may be, we just own up to it and we move on from it and we learn. All right. Deal with confrontation. This is a weak area for me. I just need everybody to get along. I need everybody to be an adult. I want you to come to work. I want you to do your job. So, Johnson.
And a lot of people don't remember, but confrontation is important because some people are very passionate about something and they're going to express it passionately. It's okay to be in conflict as long as that conflict doesn't turn violent or go beyond the bounds, because you've got opposing forces. Sometimes opposing forces will bring about the right answer.
Okay.
Because as a leader, whatever you want to call it, they don't have all the answers.
Exactly.
And the moment you realize that is the moment you build a team. And if you'll notice, every successful leader, he may not know anything about politics, but when he comes before the audience, he's the smartest person in the world. Why? Because he got all these other people that are researched and giving him the answers that he knows. But it's important that conflict still exists.
Okay.
Just to piggyback off of what it said, though, conflict doesn't always equate to a physical or a verbal fight, a battle, right? Conflict can be in the form of, I disagree with your statements or something like that. So it's really being able to direct the confrontation the way that you want it to go, as opposed to the way that it may flare up to something more than it is.
Okay.
And I'll say, you know, in everything we do, that, like you said, there will be conflict. I think in a setting like for our church, we cannot lose sight of the goal. We cannot lose sight of the vision for why we are there. So I think you can embrace conflict with people that understand that their position may be to provide information, but it may be the leader's overall decision to move forward. So we got mature people, you can entertain it. But if you have conflict with people that are immature, where they can't move past it, then you would have to probably go a different route to kind of, separate stuff, or because you can't have to go.
Okay.
I have a question. I was listening to Johnson about passion. Should we then address conflict or approach conflict without passion, with a controlled passion? Because
Absolutely.
I believe a lot of times with the conflicts, that's why we have so many denominations, so many churches, because people were passionate about their belief, and because of that, we couldn't ultimately subject ourselves to what the leader or leaders have ultimately decided. Therefore, because of my passion, I should move forward. Should we have a controlled passion when we deal with conflict, or how do we handle that?
I think that we should have a controlled conflict. You don't always have to be so aggressive when you're passionate about something. You can be passionate about something and just express it. It's all in how you express it, and express it in a way that it gets contagious to where other people can be passionate about it. Sometimes when we're overly aggressive, it's a turnoff to people. Think about Jehovah's Witness. They're just so aggressive that if you didn't know Jesus, you might not want to get to know him. So, right. So just, controlled conflict or controlled confrontation, in my opinion, is best. Because you don't know how the other person on the other end is going to receive it.
Yes. I was going to say just one other thing. I would say everybody should be able to express, their feelings about a certain task or whatever. But once we've got that, once we've been given that opportunity to express our concerns about that project or that thing, we have to be able to let it go at that point. Because if we're not an authority to make the decision on exactly which way we go, then our job is done. Our job is like lay folks is to provide the information to help our organization make a better, more informed decision. And once we've done that, we can't make the decision. It's not, most of us, it's not our responsibility.
It's not our responsibility. Okay.
I guess I would close by saying, and I think everything that was said from a particular perspective, and probably all of them are true. I mean, we are who we are because of the conflicts that we've been through and challenges. But I would probably lean more towards saying conflict rather than saying it's necessary. I would say it's inevitable.
Right.
That it's impossible, but we're going to offend each other. It's inevitable. Therefore, because it's inevitable, we shouldn't go looking for it. You know, but it's going to find you. But we should learn to, and I think McGill brought this up, we should learn how to manage it. Conflict management. We should learn how, because we can turn people off. A lot of people leave our church because of conflict. A lot of people don't like a lot of you in this room right now because of the way we handle conflict. I mean, even though we get good markings as a church, one of the areas that we're constantly being slammed on is our leadership. We're constantly slammed on how, from executives to department leaders to people in charge, we're constantly slammed on that because although conflict is inevitable, we may not be good at managing it. We may not be good at handling it. And as you said, it can turn people off. Some people can go into a shell. Some people can quit and leave. And our attitude shouldn't be, well, tough. You know, that's not your pastor's attitude, even though I know it is inevitable.
Okay.
But you know, Pastor, that's interesting. But that's interesting you said it that way. But you know, it's almost like, and even with the organization I've been in for a while, it's them and it's us against them almost. And even when the management is good, even when supervisors are good, doing those things to make the right decisions, the mindset for those that's I guess have to take the directives or whatever, is that it's still like, well, ain't the right decision. I'm still not gonna do whatever. And so even though your whole mindset is that I'm gonna make a good decision or do the best I can with the decision, you still have that mindset from the people that you're working with that don't want a good decision. I wouldn't have done that if I was in that position and so forth. So, but I mean,
I agree, but I'm talking to this group, right? I'm not talking to the other group who will always say, I'm not talking to the members. When I talk to them, I talk to them, but I'm talking to this group. We are the ones that are in control and in charge. And what I would say is, let us not, well, you know, a player got to play, you know, that's what people gonna always be against leadership. Yeah, that may be true, but that don't mean that we should not make enough. The Bible says, if it be possible, live peaceably with all men. So we got to keep working at it, even though we're probably going to always still have the conflict. We're never going to get a perfect score.
Right.
You know, but that doesn't mean that I won't be shooting for it. That don't mean that I won't be trying. That's why we're here in this class today.
And one thing, when you talk about managing conflict, I found that it's important who you talk to help you manage that conflict. Because if you got somebody that's going to be on the negative side, or you got somebody that's going to be true with you, because you can be passionate, but I've learned that talking to some people turns that passion into negativity versus passion. And then you handle it a different way versus someone that can be honest with you and have you look at it a different way and see the perspective of it. So in managing, it's finding the right person to also share with to help you balance it.
Okay. Number 4 is praise and reward your staff. You know, when in the corporate sector, money is the is the motivator. You know, so a lot of times money and recognition. People love to be out front. People like to be recognized. They like a little something extra in their check. So, but on a church, in a church setting, we have a lot of volunteers. So we have to find creative ways of recognizing and praising and rewarding them for the good job that they do, even though they're not on the payroll. And then lastly, know when to speak up, which I think we pretty much covered that in the conflict resolution. I don't think any leader or manager wants people on their team that always agree with them. You know, you need people on your team that don't genuinely agree with you, not that you're just trying to be mean or, you know, just don't want the manager to get anything accomplished. But you know, you need people on your team who will give you honest feedback. It may not always be received well, but in the end, I'm sure that it's appreciated. So I'm going to close with this last piece. So we talked about the skills from a corporate perspective. So let's just spend the last 2 minutes talking about it from a biblical perspective. From a biblical perspective, the skill sets that I use are the fruits of the Spirit. And even in a corporate setting, the fruits of the Spirit can still be used. You can still be an effective manager and find peaceful ways to resolve conflict. You can still love the people that don't always do you right. You can still have joy about your job when you're on your job, and the people that are on your team may not always be the most pleasant. You definitely have to have patience and long suffering, because as you know, people on your team and in your department can really, really get on your nerves. But think about it too, you're probably getting on their nerves as well. So just keep those skills, the 5 that I gave you, along with the fruits of the Spirit. And I think that a combination of everything that we've talked about will help us to all manage people more effectively. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yvette, for your creative teaching today.